Get ready for the Terry Podcast, where real conversations meet in the middle. Now, here's your host, Terry.
It's the Terry Podcast coming through loud and clear. How y'all doing this evening? We about to get the party started. If you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Terry Podcast. Good to be back in the land of the what? The living, as they say in the church house. Because somebody didn't wake up this morning. So that makes us, it gives us another opportunity to do something great today, okay? Make sure you always do something great today for someone or somebody or something. Okay, guys, as usual, we could talk about so many different things every day because there's something new going on in the world of which we call America. Right? What amazes me is what I guess so many things are happening so fast. You have to say it's almost like you get desensitized to what's going on in the world. You know, it's like one thing happens and we're like, wow. Then another thing happens and we're like, oh boy. And then another thing happens. So we've gone through so many levels of shock to where we've lost that. Okay. Before we can absorb that, something else happens that's even worse. And that's not a good thing. You know, because you start to lose the human qualities that make us human beings, is to be empathetic for people, to be more caring about people, because every day somebody's just going deeper and deeper into dark places. Now, I was watching the news and this really got me. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, he was killed on the streets of Manhattan as he walked on the sidewalk. Let me say that again. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed on the Manhattan streets as he was just walking down the sidewalk. They have a suspect, and if you guys have seen the video, this was definitely a hit, and we don't know to what level. And I think my insurance is through United Healthcare, so I don't know what's going on, whether it was business, whether it was personal. It just does not look good. Does not look good at all. You know, when I was reading the story, there were people online who were, you know, making jokes about it. There was somebody even saying that the hospital could have saved him, but his claim was denied. Really? Really, people? Really, 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 really. That was bad timing. That was definitely bad timing for that person who said that. But my prayers go out to his family and his loved ones, because there's so many unanswered questions right now. Because remember, you're in Manhattan. He's just walking down the street, and this guy on the video just appears and starts shooting, and it appears his gun he's having problems with the gun. Yeah, it appears that he's having problems with the weapon. So if he's a hitman, somebody hired him, he didn't look as professional. So I don't know if this was I don't know if this was personal or if it was, business. Excuse me. All I know is it was not a good look. And again, they have pictures of the suspect, who is a white male. And right now they've posted pictures, and they're looking to find this man who killed the CEO of United Healthcare. Man, what's really going on in the world that we live in that something like this is so casual? If you watch the video, it just looks so casual to the guy. There's a lady actually in the video who runs past him. So Brian Thompson was the target. He was definitely the target. No ifs and buts about it. He was the target of a hit. So I'll keep you guys posted on the news as I get it, as they release it, so we can find out what really happened. Also in New York, I'm calling him the subway killer. Daniel Perry choked out their brother Jordan Neely, who was a homeless man riding on the train in New York. He was not a threat to anyone, yet Daniel Penny didn't just restrain him, he put him in a chokehold, choked him out. While people stood there. And Daniel Perry, well, he was a threat. If you've ever gone to New York, it's a lot of crazy people on the train in New York. People just see him and they don't see him. If he's not bothering anybody physically, it's people that cut up all the time in New York on the train. If you've ever been to New York and you've been on the train, you're going to see some weird stuff and some weird people. But Daniel Perry couldn't help himself. He had to grab him from the back, put him in a chokehold, and if you've seen the video, he choked him out. He killed him. He unalived our dear brother, who was also I saw some videos of him dancing like Michael Jackson. He did have mental health issues, but he was no threat to anybody. And this seems to be a history with these chokeholds on black people. We can go to George Floyd, where a man kneels on his neck for 10 minutes. And notice the excuses come in real fast. Daniel Perry, he was threatening people. Okay, well then why don't you get away? George Floyd, knee on the neck. Oh, he had fentanyl in his system. Let me put my knee on your neck for 10 minutes. It probably wouldn't take that long. You could have chicken grease in your system. That's not going to matter. It was the knee on the neck that killed you. Okay, so let's stop playing that game. It's our lives as black men in America, black people in America. We're not deemed worthy of being treated like human beings. The minute something is done to us, it's, well, what did he do? Did he resist, or did he not give in to your orders? You got videos of black folks surrendering, being shot by police officers. It doesn't matter what we do, and it only happens to us. Only to us. And I'm going to say this. I've never killed anybody. I hope I never know what that feels like. But you have to go dark to kill somebody. You have to go dark, I would imagine, to kill someone, as though it's just something casual. And when you look at these killings from George Floyd, also the young brother who was killed on the train, Jordan Neely, Daniel Perry, just sitting there choking him. Like he's sitting there watching the Thursday night football on TV. like he's at a social event, just choking him. Now, I'm going to say this. The problem is it's only happening to us. I'm going to say that again. Not Hispanics, not Asians, not Puerto Ricans. Nobody is experiencing going through the experience. Let me get that right. I can't get my words together. Going through the experience of what we go through on a daily basis as Black people living in America. And I always say there are two Americas. There's the America for white America and everybody else. And then there's America for Black folks who nobody seems to care about. That's why we fought so hard during this election for an anti-hate crime bill to give us federal protection, because we're the only people that are affected by police killings on that level. I could go through naming no-knock policies where they just go in and kill a Black man. They're at the wrong house and they, oh, well, he looked like Darryl. If you kick down my door right now in my studio, of course, I'm going to try to protect myself because you just kicked my door in, and I'm not a criminal. So there's no need for you to be kicking my door in. All I'm saying is that America is on a decline, and it has been happening for a very, very long time. And to the people who ignore it, as they say, the good people, I don't know any good people. I see people who stand by and watch people who look like me get killed or mistreated, and then make an excuse for the person who's mistreating us. Literally make excuses. But when there's a school shooter, there's a white assassin, I guarantee you this dude who killed the CEO, they're going to come back. Oh, he had problems when he was a kid. His dad wasn't there. They teased him at school. Yeah, he made a D. He made a D when he was in the, he had a D on his paper when he was in the 11th grade. And he just hadn't been the same. I don't know what it is. He hadn't been the same. They're going to come up with all kind of excuses. Immediately they go to, he has a mental issue. Not that he's a killer. So, man, I'm praying for the world to get better. Let me just say that. I'm praying for this world to get better. I saw another story, kind of reminded me of P. Diddy, so y'all roll with me. It's a Diddy thing. This is sex on the job. Workers at an embattled Veteran Affairs facility had a 12-person orgy. And one of the officials had sex with 32 co-workers. Wow. Now, when I saw that, I'm thinking, what is going on that y'all are having orgies on the job? I think it was on the job, allegedly on the job. Let me just say that. And one official had sex with 32 co-workers. I don't know if he was a supervisor, why he got all the poom poom. I don't know why he got 32 women. So there were no photos shown of the people who I think who have all since resigned from their positions. Man, this is wild. And they were sharing that information within the government email system. They were bragging about it. And man, I mean, you talk about somebody coming into work early. Yeah, somebody was home. Hey, baby, I'm going in early. 4 hours? 4 hours early, baby? Yeah. We got a meeting. Yeah, you sure do have a meeting. You talking about somebody that want to work overtime? Ain't nobody arguing about that. Hey, yeah, Bob. Bob, we're going to need you to work overtime. No problem. Night shift? Oh, no problem. No problem. Matter of fact, I brought my lunch. Y'all having a 12-person orgy at work. No wonder the damn veterans can't get any help. Everybody up in there getting freaked. The veterans out in the hallway can't get their applications through because they freaking. Everybody's freaking up in there. Come on, man. I mean, it seems like a great job to have. Let me just say that now. That seems like that's a great job to have. I can see somebody saying, hey, man, I work 7 days a week. I have a great job. Like, 7 days a week? What days you off? Oh, we don't do off days. I know you don't. I know you don't with all that freaking y'all doing up in there. You don't want an off day. Especially the one that had sex with 32 co-workers. He was putting in overtime for real. But that story is not within itself odd because right in Tennessee, there was a female officer who slept with the crew. She was a former Tennessee police officer who was fired amid revelations of casual sex among sworn on-duty personnel. And in a federal lawsuit that she was subjected to, I guess she's filing that she was subjected to sexual grooming. Sound like she applied for the job that fit her best. Megan Hall, who admitted to investigators that she had practiced or participated in sexual liaisons with 4 officers, 2 of whom who were her supervisors. She filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in Nashville. This happened in Tennessee, guys. Now, from what I can see, they came to an agreement with her. They reached a settlement of $500,000. Let me say that again. They reached a settlement of $500,000 with the city after dismissing a federal civil rights lawsuit against the department and her former co-workers. I don't know why I can't get my words together. Her former co-workers. Look, this is a white woman. Keep that in mind too. If this was a black female police officer, she would have got her 401k if they gave her that and sent her home. This woman filed a lawsuit and I guess claiming that she was being groomed. Now, you're a police officer. You have a gun. You have a baton. You have mace. How are they grooming you? Make it make sense. Again, she's going in for real. And she walks away with $500,000 of a settlement that's going to be paid out to her. They said she was vulnerable and optimistic. You see how they make excuses for these? If you're white, you're going to get those excuses. If that would have been a black woman sleeping with multiple officers on the job, no excuses would have been made. She ratchet, she sexy red. She need to get, we got to get on about it. And would have put charges on her. Make no mistake about it. They would have destroyed that woman. They would have tried to put charges on her. Ms. Hall said she sought out role models at the job, and instead she found out or they became predators to her. You sought out role models at the new job. I wonder how that conversation starts to where 4 men on the job are sleeping with a female officer. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm looking for role models. Oh, okay. You came to the right place. What kind of role models you looking for here at the police department? Oh, some strong role models. Some sweaty role models. Some men that can play roles while I model. Okay, I'm pretty sure we can rush your application through right now. Man, if that's not the craziest story that I have ever heard. I don't know where the news I don't know where it gets better. I think that was more, again, free P. Diddy. The police are having freak offs. The VA department, they're having freak offs while veterans sit out in the hallway and figure it out. And Diddy's in jail for baby oil, allegedly baby oil, which I have invested stock into now. I'm waiting to get my returns back now that baby oil has been put back on the market. I think Diddy had bought it all out, so I hadn't seen baby oil on the shelves in a long time. That was the reason. He had bought it all out. Excuse me. Now, I don't know where you've been if you haven't seen this. I ran across this mayor in Illinois, Tiffany Henyard, and she was loud, ratchet, flamboyant. She was braggadocious. You name it, she was on it. And she's the mayor of 2 towns. I know one of Thornton, and I think Dothan. And she was balling out. She was taking the budget. She was doing what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it. And she bragged about it. And as I saw the story, I kept saying, who is this woman tied to? What kind of power does she have to pull those type of moves as a black woman? Who is she connected to that nobody's saying anything? Because she was openly corrupt and bragged about it. But I guess now the town is tired of it. They voted her out. She got voted out and she showed up and she clowned. She came in there like Denzel. I'm putting charges on all of y'all. Everybody in here, I'm putting charges on. Wait. Just wait on it. They applaud. I mean, they literally booted her out and she's outside. Yeah, they locked me out. But I'm putting charges on everybody in here. Oh my God, Tiffany. And let me tell you what I know. Allegedly, she had extravagant trips. I know one trip that went to Las Vegas. And there were shopping sprees and, she was living a good life as a mayor. She created debt for the towns. She was completely out of order. When I say she was ratchet, that's being nice. That's how she got on my radar. I'm just going through the news and I'm like, wow, she cutting up. At first I thought it was somebody tripping, this got to be a joke. This can't be. She was, when they kicked her out, she had that Glorilla in her. Yeah, glow. Yeah, glow. Yeah, glow. She coming in like Big Glow. Yeah, glow. Like, y'all trying to lock me out the vote? Yeah, glow. Y'all think y'all can do this to me? Yeah, glow. I said, oh Lord. She'd have went full Glorilla in there. And now she's out of office, disgraced and out of office. Tiffany Henyard, I'm pretty sure there are more charges that are going to come down because, as I said, if you kind of kept up with the story with her, she had a lot going on and she wasn't bashful at all. You know, very attractive sister, very beautiful sister. So I don't know how she came into all that power. You know, you have to question when you see, I tell people when you see somebody black that can do whatever they want to and nobody's saying anything, they got to be tied to somebody white. Because, you know, they hold us accountable faster than they hold anybody else. A white person in that position can get away with robbing, stealing. And there's something about those Chicago politicians. They got a lot of them in jail. Every time I think at one point you look up, there's so many crooked Chicago politicians going to jail. You know, matter of fact, I think Jesse Jackson just filed for a motion to have his son released by, you know, I think with Joe Biden. You know, his son was caught into allegedly some bad politics. Well, not allegedly, because let me just take that back. He actually is in jail. And man, I don't know what it is. If you run for office in Chicago, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to go to jail because of some things that you're going to do. So again, Tiffany Henyard is out of there. They got her out of there like a pitcher throwing a strike. And she went out that door like Denzel. I'm putting charges on everybody in here. Everybody who went against me, I'm putting charges on you and your mama. I said, my mama had nothing to do with it. Oh, man. Now, this is something that I got to talk about. You know how they always telling us when we speak about reparations, we've been fighting for reparations for a long time. Brother Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Claude Anderson, and others, we have been fighting for what's owed to black folks because keep in mind, there was no America until black folks built it. Okay? There were 12 colonies that failed when white people tried to do it on their own. They didn't succeed until they managed somehow to get us up under their thumb, and we did all the building. I'll give you a name. Horace King, go look him up. He was a well-known, sought-after bridge builder. We built all the houses. As you know, black folks built the White House. So when we talk about reparations, it is owed because black folks were freed and giving nothing in return for building the wealth of America. That's what slavery did. The Negro was the first credit card. So when you needed something and white America said, oh, I'd like to buy that buggy. How much it's going to cost me? Oh, 2 Negroes. Betty and Jamal, go over there. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to give you Betty and Jamal. That should cover the price. Let me get that buggy. They were trading black folks. And keep in mind, after slavery, when the slaves were released, the slave masters, were given reparations for loss of property. Let me say that again. Got to do your homework. Slave masters were paid for the loss of property. Now, I said all that to say this. Governor Kathy Hochul, I guess that's how you pronounce her name, H-O-C. Hochul, I guess it's Hochul. Let me say that, Kathy Hochul. She announced that $2.6 million in funding would be provided to support the Holocaust Survivors Initiative. This funding to be administered by New York State Office for the Aging will be used to increase access to healthcare related services provided by community-based organizations for those who suffered in the Holocaust. Man, we're told all the time, quit begging. No disrespect to the Jewish community. What you suffered, you only suffered for a short time. Black folks have suffered for over 400 years. For over 400 years. And there's an initiative to fund the Holocaust victims when they always tell us, well, y'all still talking about slavery. Put that behind you. That's behind you. See, you keep acting like a victim. See, who's oppressing you? The white man ain't oppressing you. You just need to tie up your bootstraps. And what you need to do is you need to get up and go to work. See, you begging these white folks. That's what you're doing. See, you got to stop begging these white folks. Oh, wait a minute. We got a phone call. We need to help who? The Holocaust victims. How much you need? You see how easy that is? When it comes for something and they tell us, well, we can't do race-based politics, so we can't just give something to your group. But you're doing it for Jews. And you did it for Asians on an anti-hate bill for Asians. And you're doing it for immigration. I'm not an immigrant. I don't get any of that funding. I didn't get those $15,000 credit cards that you were giving out. I didn't get that. But when we ask for some, y'all got to quit begging. You see, you're begging. Now, they're saying that the survivors of the Holocaust endured tragedy beyond the imaginations of the average person. I'm going to say this again. I think the book is called No Sanctuary. It's a book showing black people hanging from trees. Black folks have suffered Jim Crow, redlining. Slavery within itself was horrible. Slavery within itself was horrible. And it's almost like what happens to us. Let me just read it. They're talking about how much they endured through the Holocaust, which, if I'm not mistaken, the Holocaust was less than 5 years. We went through chattel slavery, Jim Crow, black codes, racial massacres, racial property seizures, medical experimentations, sharecropping, convict leasing, Homestead Act exclusion, GI Bill exclusion, New Deal exclusion, mortgage exclusion, FHA, contract buying, redlining, urban renewal, racial covenants, war on drugs, mass incarceration, ongoing police terrorism. And that's just to name a few. But in this story, let me read this one more time. The survivors of the Holocaust endured tragedy beyond the imagination of the average person. And they say we owe them a lifetime of care. And with this funding, we can ensure they receive just that. This is the governor of New York. Now, the Holocaust happened in Germany, not in the United States. Slavery happened in the United States. Make it make sense. This is why I had to create a podcast to have the conversation, to say, look, we need to start raising an educated voter who understands policies. You don't give your voting block away for symbolic gestures. Hey, if you vote for me, I'm going to let you put a Band-Aid on your face. I'm going to let you say, I voted. and we gonna give you catfish nuggets, or we got sweet tea over there, we got chicken. Man, if you don't get out of here with that nonsense. This is New York governor. And she goes on to say, we will never forget, and we will do everything possible to honor the memory of millions of lives lost and ensure survivors will always be safe. Black people, please wake up. Please wake up. Do you see how they have all the money in the world for every group except for us? And this is not new. They started doing this way back after the Civil War, Reconstruction, when black folks started coming up because there was nobody in their way. They got together. Hey, we got to get these black people out of power. We cannot let them have power, because every time we've operated without them, Black Wall Street was just one of many. We've always far succeeded them because we are the brand, we are the product, we are it. We are the culture of America. But we're locked out of, so they had to lock us out of anything economic that we could have growth, that we could have separation or independence. Go look up Black Wall Street. They hid that for over 100 years. And even the last surviving members, I think only one is living now. They just denied them of reparations. Yet Joe Biden hopped his little frail, wickety wick butt on the flight. Mr. President, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to tell the Indians we're sorry. And give them a check. Going out the door, he pardons his son and apologizes to the Indians. And the reparations claim, which is owed to the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was denied. Yet all you Negroes, when you call me with this nonsense, then I gotta keep it 100 with you. I don't want to hear that plantation talk. I don't want to hear that plantation talk, because everybody's getting what they're owed except for us. So as they say, if you're scared, go to church. So when I get people come to me, see, you wanted Trump in office, you finna get it now. You finna get it now, watch that. Watch you finna get it. The last two survivors of Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, they denied them reparations. And then they went down there with this fake reparations thing. What's her name? Sheila Lee went down there acting like she's an Indian. HR 41 went down there and gave the money, and the money's going to the white communities. This is what they do. This is what they do. That's why we have to stay on their bumper. We have to keep ourselves 10 toes down, because if they keep pushing us out economically, if we don't build our own economic system, if we don't start having ownership, as again, Diddy's in jail for challenging that liquor company, and he won. Bill Cosby was taken to jail because he had an investment group. He was trying to buy MSNBC, and I think the Cleveland Browns. See, that's power. See, Magic Johnson is a co-owner. Yeah, they'll let you do that. I think Isaiah Thomas dropped in $12 million to be a co-owner of the team over in Canada. They'll let you do that. But when you're talking about owning a team, no. Don't let these Negroes own that now. You can be a part of it, because you're a part of it. Hey, we can buy you out. Hey, stock is low, man. Look, we got to cut down. You got to cut down. Look, would you invest in it? Here's your share. You can go ahead and move on to the next one. They don't play fair, man. I'm telling you, they don't play fair. So when you see one of us, it means nothing. That's one. I'm going to go to a advertising break right now. Look, if you're in the Memphis area, call the Fishing Magician for the best catfish. Whole catfish, filet, nuggets, and steaks. He can fry. He actually did my Thanksgiving. Fishing Magician. You can call him at 901-729-0486 and follow him on Facebook up under Alonzo Frazier. Like Smoking Joe Frazier, Alonzo Frazier, and you'll get times and dates. If you're in the Memphis area or surrounding areas, you got to try my guy out. It's the Fishing Magician for catfish nuggets, the best catfish that you can have. Do that for me and let him know that you heard it on the Terry podcast, all right? Now, I got to talk about my city. The city of Memphis, I think they will not agree to negotiate federal oversight of its police department until it can review and challenge results of a yet-to-be-released Department of Justice investigation into how its officers use force and treat minorities. They got to say black people. They got to stop saying minorities. So let's, you got to watch these words. See, minorities can fall up under Hispanics and white women. And they'll say, well, we don't treat white women. No, you black folks. So if there's a settlement for treatment on how they've done black people, Tyree Nichols was black. I don't know white people being beat by the police. I don't know Hispanic people being beat by the police. I don't know. Now, tell me. I haven't seen it. So this corrupt Memphis police department, which as though they have so much going on at 201 Poplar in the police department. Again, Tyree Nichols, who was beat to death by four or five Memphis police officers who were black. And there was one white guy, I keep repeating his name, who shouted out, I hope they do this to him, that he was allowed to get away. In the midst of Tyree Nichols of the lawsuit, they're trying to make Tyree Nichols the villain by saying he had problems with his baby mama. Who don't have problem with their baby mama? I'm just saying, but what that got to do with you beating this man to death? What that got to do with anything? You see how even in death, a black man is not safe. Even in death, prayers go out to that young man's family. And now to have to deal with this nonsense is crazy. But I told you guys, and I'm going to say this on record. I told you when Memphis Paul Young was elected, and let me just say, Mayor Strickland didn't do anything in this. I didn't even know he was a mayor. That's how much he did for this city. Nothing. But I do know there was an $80 million deal to move the Brooks Museum downtown. There's another $10 million deal to create a bird park. So we're talking $90 million of taxpayers' money going to waste. So when Paul Young came into office, I said it to some of his friends when I saw him, didn't even know him. Oh, he's a seat filler. He doesn't come off as a leader. He does not look like a leader. So when it came time to come in and do his job, people were saying we want the police chief gone because she had a history of dealing with things that came out of Atlanta. I'll let you go look that up. And she was voted out twice, if I'm not mistaken. And he kept her. Well, I think she's a good person. What that got to do with her? She's been voted out, but what does that have to do with anything? She may be a good person to her family. Since she's been here, she's been at a distance. Talking to her, she seems unapproachable. She's not from our community. But for some reason, Paul Young kept her in place. And I tell people all the time, when you see things like this, that means there's something bigger going on that he was brought in to do, and he kept her. Any mayor would have come in, like as we had a board of education had a big scandal. They brought in a new superintendent. She came in and started clearing house. She did what she was supposed to do. She did what she was supposed to do. Let me get rid of all this nonsense. I'm going to look at what's going on. I'm going to clean these departments up, and I'm going to start from scratch. That way, anything that happened is on my watch. And they were upset because why? She's disrupted all this cliquish. See, I'm going to tell you this too. I live in Memphis. I'm raised and born in Memphis, okay? Born and raised. It's one of the most cliquish places I've ever seen. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Atlanta. I can go do business with people I meet based upon the business. Based upon the business, the potential of business. Here in Memphis, they click. The Boule Negroes and another crowd, they clicked up. If you come here, if you ain't a part of these cliques, you're not going to get much done. And they really don't get anything done. It's just you're a part of a clique that ain't going nowhere. So I can tell you right now, the majority of people who make it in this city, because there are a lot of celebrities and actresses, people who make it, they leave here. This ain't Atlanta. This ain't Nashville. This city's not built for you if you aspire to go anywhere or go further. You just kind of exist here. And for the people in Memphis who will get mad about it, I see it. I've lived it all my life here. That's why I don't run in those circles. If we can do business, we do business based upon the potential that we can get something done. I don't do business with you based upon clicks. I don't do that. Okay? Also, I got to talk about something right quick. Kendra G, this is my entertainment news. Kendra G, God bless her. She's stepped in where Kevin Samuels left off. And almost every woman comes on, and no disrespect, some of them are nice looking, but a lot of them are very delusional, even the nice looking ones. One lady it caught my attention. She has 2 kids, and well, I'm looking for a man, but he has to know he won't ever be above my children. Okay, he won't be above your children. Okay. So what's his role? Well, he won't be above my children. So I don't know what man wakes up to say, okay, I make 6 figures. Oh, I make a good living. I'm just not going to say a 6-figure man. To me, a high value man is just a good, hard working man. Okay, I make good money and I'm waking up. Let me go find an overweight black lady who runs off at the mouth, who has an attitude, who does not know how to be a helpmate. And what I'm going to do is offer my protection, my guidance to her and her kids, and then I'm going to share my resources, and I'm going to protect them. Where they do that at? I'm asking for a friend. Where they do that at, and you ought to see these women sit here. And this is what I'm saying, the disconnect in the black community is scary because our women and our men, I'm going to tell you as a man, every man is not a good man, but there's still a lot of good men out there. So it's good and bad on both sides. But the biggest problem I see is how our women carry themselves. See, you can't ask for a man, because I see so many women online, you're afraid of an alpha? You can never be an alpha to a man. If you knew the word alpha, there can only be one. And see, we come up as men, when I played basketball, I knew who the best guy on the team was, and I was supposed to get the ball to him. I knew my ranking. I know when I'm not the most attractive guy in the room. I also know there are guys that I'm more attractive than, or that I have a higher ranking than. We learned that at a very early age as men. Because there's some places I go when I'm the big dog. There's some places I go when I'm not the big dog. I have no problem with that. I know my role. But our women have a problem with that. I had a where I talked about woman, know your position. Several women reached out to me and they were offended. Okay, I have to be the provider, the protector, your provision, and take my resources and make sure this home is good. That's my role. That's my position. Yeah, but you supposed to do that. Okay, what are you supposed to do? Well, what I'm saying is, a man just can't tell me what to do, but then you're not gonna be with no man. And let me give a lot of women this advice. You're not going to run or control a man. That's not your position. And I don't mean that in a dominant way. I mean it for what it is. Your job is not to run that man. You're to be there as a helpmate. You're there to be a partner to him. You should be building with that man. I always use this example. If you're living with a man and people come over there and the house is out of order, it's nasty, they're not going to blame that man. They're going to really look at that woman, man. That's a nasty woman. And if the woman got to run to outside people, hey, I need to borrow some money, what's the first thing they're going to ask you? Where your husband at? Or where your dude at? Because that's looked upon as his responsibility. So we both have roles to play, okay? We both do, okay? I shouldn't have to go any deeper. If I'm laying in the bed with you and that door gets kicked in, is your natural instinct to get up and beat me to the door, or is to get behind me? Because mine is to get up and go see what the problem is. So we gotta stop all this. And again, Kendra G, I love the show, but it's getting down to where it's so predictable. It's so predictable. And she tries to correct him. I give Kendra G her credit. She, you sure? well, yeah. I mean, he got to make 100,000, and I know I'm a big girl. I already know that. Or I know I'm an alpha female, and I know he gonna have to deal with this. And he ain't got to deal with nothing. He ain't got to deal with a man tolerating a woman. Our black women just tolerate you. Y'all are going down a road that you're going to regret. You're separating yourselves from your protection. This crazy election had women talking about because black men didn't want to vote for a woman, didn't want to vote for a black woman, which we know she ain't black. Let's get past that. Then we not going to have sex. We not going to have babies. We not going to date. Man, knock yourself out. What other woman is saying that? Ain't no white woman saying because you didn't vote for Kamala, I'm not going to sleep with you. Now, before I close this out, let me say this. There's a case that I just happened to run back across, and it just really didn't sit well in my spirit. Marcellus Williams was killed, put to death. He was executed in Missouri, and the fact that DNA evidence, nonstop petitions, calls to the governor's office, and pleading from the case, the prosecutor, the jurors, and the victim's family to stop the execution, it wasn't enough that this brother was still executed as an innocent man. This is what I call, I'm white and I say so. This is what we deal with in America every day. I could be on here all night talking about the experience of being black in America. As Chris Rock said, there's a bus boy that don't want to be black, and Chris Rock is rich. He don't want to trade places with Chris Rock. He would rather stay white. And it's like they say, white people have $1 million worth of whiteness. That's why they come to this country. Because when they get over here, I think it was, what's this millionaire, is it Cardone? But he said, I don't know how a white man can fail because the game is set up for you to win. This game is set up for you to win as a white man. So I say again to the black voter, do your research. Marcellus Williams is just one of many black men killed. And, enough is enough. And I just happened to run back across that story, and it just did not sit well in my spirit. It just did not sit well in my spirit, man. It just thinking about it, it does something to me, because in this election where I was talking to people about understanding policies, we need policies in place to protect our young people in the future. We can't just settle on just vote to vote because you don't like Trump. Your vote can't be because of a boogeyman, because the system is the boogeyman. Make no mistake about it, the system is the boogeyman. The system is the boogeyman that we live in, okay? This is not a new America. This is the same America. It's the same America that we've always experienced. So, look, if you made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in to just let me have my piece. Just let me say what I needed to say, and hopefully I gave you some information, or I was able to inspire you in some way. And don't forget to go to my page, the Terry Podcast, like and subscribe. And if you're a fan of my music, don't forget to go to The Real Terry Harris on YouTube. Also, there's music still available on Spotify, Apple, I guess it's iTunes. It's available for your liking if you're a fan of my music. Man, like I said, I come in here with so much energy, and as I get to the end of a show, it's almost draining when I think about all the things that are going on in the world today. And I just want the world to be a better place for me, for you, for my child, for your child. I want the dream. But we can't have the dream until we understand we have to start understanding group politics. Okay? Dr. King said, I've led my people into a burning building. Remember that. Because he started to understand I need to get my people to operate as a group. When he came with, I have a dream that one day, that was great because everybody was included. But the minute he said, hey, yeah, we coming for that money, we got to get him out of here. So again, thank you for tuning in to the Terry Podcast, where good conversation meets in the middle of the road. And as they say in the hood, it's okay to be a fool, but don't be a what? A damn fool. That's my time, y'all. I'm going to let the music play out.